Waves Demo Day, where we're making waves in Web3. Web3 Waves, or W3W Demo Day, is bringing the world of Web3 together, where game-changing Web3 startups and founders meet and get working capital from the most ambitious VCs and investors in the space. This event today is presented by RN01. RN01 is an experienced design agency for tech and Web3 brands of the future. You can learn more about RN01 at rno1.com. I'm your host today, Michael Gaizutis. I'm the creator of Web3 Waves and founder of RN01. We're excited to be here with everybody today. We have a great group of people here from all sides of the world of Web3. I'd love to create some intros here. On the investment side, we have Nicholas, who is from Blockchain Founders Fund. Nicholas, great to have you here. And we have a Web3 expert again. Greg, great to have you back. From the startup side, we have Anna from Qkwe Qkwe, we have Bolarin from Centiv, and we have Quentin and Oscar from BlockSwan. There's so much to talk about today, everyone. As I said, we're bridging the gap between founders, startups, creators, new projects, and the investment side. We're thrilled to get into it. Please remember to join and contribute to our Web3 Waves Discord community. We're really building this for everyone here. It's all about the community. It's about the creators. It's about the content. We'd love to get everybody's feedback after this event in Discord if possible. And if everyone on the startup side and investment side, and of course Greg too, could share their contact info, social handles in Discord, just so everybody could engage, connect, and get acquainted, that'd be great. So in an effort to keep things moving and stay on schedule, I know it's late, especially for Nicholas there in Singapore, being 3 a.m. Let's get into it and start talking about our first presenter. So I'll give a quick intro here, and then, of course, I think there's so much that can be said from this presenter themselves. But I had a great opportunity to chat with Anna, who is the founder of Qkwe Qkwe. Just in short, Qkwe Qkwe is built for the African artist who wants digital ownership of their artwork turned into currency of affluence. Great technology, great utility, and really helping the African art market, really running in parallel to a growing investment. Anna, it's so great to have you here. I'm excited to share your story, your knowledge, your brilliance with our community, with our investors, and equally with Greg, too, who's here as a Web3 expert.
Fabulous. Michael, thank you very much. And thank you, everybody at the Web3 Waves, for putting this together. This is wonderful. So without further ado, I'll jump into Qkwe Qkwe. I'm originally from South Africa, hence the focus for African art as an originator. But let me take you through the presentation. I hope I can stay under the 5 minutes that I meant to have. I'll speak as quick as possible. Can everybody see my screen?
Yes. Looks great. Okay. Everyone else? It's okay?
Yes, sure.
Perfect.
Super. Great. So Qkwe Qkwe was founded in 2021, and it's really put together to drive the creative economy in Africa and beyond. So the vision that we set out with is to create the standard for art authentication and sales on the blockchain. And our mission really is to drive the creative economy in Web3 and beyond. So Qkwe Qkwe is a curated NFT marketplace and also a directory for proof of ownership that builds the foundation then for artists to be able to continuously earn from their work. We have a great focus on bridging the gap between the physical and the digital worlds, and I'll speak a little bit more about that later. And in terms of our team, we are situated in Amman, Jordan, and also in South Africa and in Germany. And then we have advisors from Egypt and Kenya and Dubai. So the overall problem statement, we are focusing with a curated NFT marketplace to connect the artists, the galleries, the buyers, and the brands. But the problem really is threefold, right? We have the access to market issue, we have a proof of creation ownership challenge, and then we have continuous earning that actually is not existing in the market at the moment. So for Qkwe Qkwe, our solution is building the marketplace to enable artists to access a global audience of buyers and collectors. Also to bridge that gap between the physical and the digital through having every single physical artwork sold accompanied by the NFT and logging that on the chain. And then earning potential for artists and also buyers, as well as galleries and brand engagement to be able to grow that market. So if we look at the NFT market where they stand at the moment, so it's a 29.3, as we know, billion market, and there's a great significant potential for growth. This is the complete NFT. This is not only art NFT. In Africa, if we look at art, we're looking at a $13 billion market that we contributed in 2018. This is more contemporary art, with a prediction of growth to 15 billion from Sotheby's. So monetization, how we focus, we take a 7% marketplace fee on all transactions. We also have consultation fees and brand engagement fees. Some of our early proof points, we launched in July 2022. We launched our first exhibition, and within a couple of weeks had 19,000 plus visitors. We also had our first physical digital exhibition that happened in Dubai in July 2022 with an artist, Brukish Lita from Ethiopia. And then we have our second digital exhibition that just recently launched with 29 contemporary artworks on sale. We've also got the MOUs in place with Save the Children Rwanda, where we're doing an art exchange with Rwandese and Burundian artists in support of the life-changing work that Save the Children does. So there's a big social component to what we do as well. So again, deep diving into the problem statement of earlier, there's lack of access, of understanding, there's lack of understanding of the opportunities that technology offers, especially our wonderful Web3 and how that can change an artist's life in Africa with remote access issues. There's also the challenge that there's no central system really showcasing artworks and artists and owners of artworks. And then the potential of earning, where we know that very few artists ever see a secondary income traditionally from their work. But that's, of course, all changed thanks to the Web3 and NFTs and our beautiful smart contracts. So with access to market, one of our big focuses that we are doing at Qkwe Qkwe is really education-based. So spending one-on-one time together with artists, making sure they understand, doing group shows or group webinars with them, and really doing a proper onboarding into the Web3. With the proof of creation and ownership, we have trademarked smart art, which is really a game changer not only in Africa, but in the global art market, where we can now sell the physical together with the NFT as a proof of ownership, proof of authenticity, but then also with the smart contract coupled, allow both the buyer and the original creator of the work to continuously earn. The same thing as a normal NFT, just logging and have the continuous earning on that. So this is a very brief overview of the omniverse of Qkwe Qkwe then, and the pillars that represent us, focusing on the brands, our DAO that we're busy developing now, the big educational component, metaverse, ticketing, and social good. So looking at the market in terms of time, I'm just going to jump over to the attainable market share, which is 148.4 million, worked out on the combined market of the serviceable options and taking a seventh of that. So how do artists traditionally sell their work? It's through, in Africa, expat communities, local galleries, and if they're then lucky enough that the local gallery has access to a global market space, then they can move out. There's some e-com sites available that distribute physical artworks, and then, of course, corporate supporting the work. I'm going to skip through this one. This is basically speaking more about the brands and how we do brand engagement as well. So how our operating model works at Qkwe Qkwe is we invite artists in for the exhibition, so hence the curation part. This is twofold. It's not to exclude anybody, but really to ensure that we have high-quality artists on, and also because it's early days for many of the artists in Africa to make the jump and the leap into the Web3, to be able to offer the extensive education and onboarding processes that we do. We also then offer the access to buyers. We empower artists through education, as I said, and then brand and sponsorship campaigns. So 7% marketplace fee on all transactions, and revenue from the artists onboarding through sponsorship models, and then revenue from brand-driven solutions. So what we've accomplished thus far is we have built a unique NFT marketplace. We are operating on Polygon chain, and the stable coin that we chose to use is USDC. Reasons for that, of course, bringing the minting fees and everything else down, and also having a stable coin makes it much easier for initial person onboarding. So we've signed the 22 artists from South Africa, Kenya, Ethiopia, Nigeria for our launch exhibition Multiplication. We've got 6 countries representing eudaimonia, and we're busy negotiating partnership with 4 galleries across the continent. We're developing our DAO fund currently, and we've had quite some media coverage, thankfully. Our core team is made up of myself, who is the founder of Qkwe, then Kevin Naidu, who's the CTPO. We've got Vian as the curator, Marietta as the word wizard. That's it. Meta thanks.
Well done. Thank you for walking us through
Did
that,
I
Anna.
say under 5 minutes?
It was perfect. Yeah, I mean, the timing was perfect. But more importantly, what was wonderful was your presentation, the model. I came personally from the art world years ago, and I don't know if most people know this about me. So I was in the luxury arts market trying to make art more accessible. This is pre-iPhone, tech stacks that we have today. And I think what's fascinating about this is that you're doing this on such a large scale with the potential to impact so many people in markets that are so non-traditional to what most would be in more developed nations and countries. So I love that. I love the enablement of these other countries, these other nations that ordinarily don't have access. And I think what's so exciting here is that you're blending truly the physical with the digital. You're creating access, you're building education, and the opportunity to scale this out to so many other nations, countries that are underserved, underdeveloped, limitless, in addition to more developed worlds in the future, of course. So I get it. I love it. But I'd love to bring in our investors equally, Greg, into the conversation. So if I can, Nicholas and Greg, what questions, thoughts, feedback do you have for Anna on the model, the idea, the momentum in the Web3 space?
Yep. Yeah, maybe I can go first. So, hey Anna, thanks for that presentation. I think anytime when I look at a project that's trying to democratize and bringing access to more people in the Web3 space is definitely something that we need. Really interesting project. So I just wanted to touch on let's say like the logistical side of things, right? I think you mentioned that the artworks, the NFTs are backed physically by the artwork. So I'm just wondering, what are the logistics involved around there? If like a user were to purchase like the NFT, and then are you going to ship over the artwork over to their place? And is this a global operation, or how does it work?
Sure. Thank you very much, Nicholas. So basically, we do 2 sides, right? We do pure NFT or art as NFT, as you would find on Rarible and many of the other Super Rare and many of the other marketplaces currently. So we have that aspect. So the exhibitions that's currently on, for example, that's NFT only. We do NFT utility, so there's unlockable content. So many of the artists, for example, would then give a physical work that they would ship themselves, or they would give a printable size of the NFT or of another work as the unlockable content. So that's one aspect of it. Then the other aspect is dealing with the galleries and with the physical exhibitions. So then it flips it around, actually. So I'm selling the physical, but by purchasing the physical, I own the NFT by extension. Does that make sense?
Okay. Yep. Okay.
So,
got it.
And one of the, what you open up, and this is what I'm so excited about, is you are opening up a marketplace for people that traditionally won't necessarily jump into Web3 or jump into NFTs. But now, because they are art collectors, because they are art lovers, this is what's starting to happen, right? Because now you have the NFT. Great. What do I do with this? Do I sell it? Do I keep it? Do I buy another one? This is quite an exciting new space. And hopefully that rolls on and actually builds.
Yeah. Awesome. Cool. Yeah. And just another question on my side, like a 7% transaction fee seems a bit on the higher side, if you compare to the likes of, let's say, OpenSea at around 2.5% and Magic Eden at 2%. Like, wondering what are your thought process behind that, and how are you gonna are you thinking of them as competitors, or what's the thought around it?
I mean, of course, they're in a very similar field. So in a way, they are competitors, but because we're very focused and the way that we are doing this is rather different from the way that they are approaching it. The reason for the 7%, that's not a total going into the Qkwe account. Part of that 7%, actually 3.5 of that, is going into the DAO fund. So we've pegged it already from the start at 7, so that we can actually keep those funds. And once the DAO is completely set up and in place, it will be transferred over to the DAO, of which all the sellers and buyers then can start benefiting.
Okay, got it. Cool. Thanks, Anna.
Thank you very much.
Hi, Anna.
Hi, Greg.
I took this off. This is why I stood up. I was born in Joburg, for one. And
fabulous.
yeah, so the whole time you were talking, I've in general, I want to speak with you because a lot of my cousins, I'm working with my cousin in South Africa on some projects there, and in Tanzania, and I'm actually working on some stuff with Gallo and Boomplay, all looking to get into the space. So this is great because this is a huge market, right? I was saying to my my buddy the other day, his name's Qkwe Qkwe actually, and he we're talking about like the wealth of art just sitting in Soweto, right? And then actually my cousin's best friend runs a huge marketing agency that represents a lot of these artists in South Africa. So we should definitely speak after this call.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So yeah, I mean, honestly, just in general, I think Africa and Latin America are huge plays right now in really any industry. But, I think the wealth of African art and culture that is able to be accessed, right? For example, Gallo has the catalog for the last 100 years of African music that a lot of people around the world haven't even heard. So there's a lot of people working on stuff. Actually, there's a guy working on NFT Joburg in December right now.
Oh, really?
So yeah, I'd love to talk to you. I agree with Nicholas. I think the 7% fee is you're going to get a lot of questions and heat about it. People complain about OpenSeas a lot, but I would say, I guess one question, say I buy a physical, I like the physical to NFT too, because also I'm part of another project. We just opened a gallery in West Hollywood. Actually, I'd love to talk to you about doing an exhibition there. We're doing month-long exhibitions right now, but we're selling infinite objects, and then you get the NFT with it. And I was kind of hesitant about how that was going to work, and it's actually selling pretty good. So I do like that. So would part of that 7% though, say I buy a painting from SA, do I need to pay for that shipping? Because I'm sure the shipping costs are going to be extensive.
No, so that's covered.
Okay, so yeah.
If it is that model around where the artist actually, as a part of as the unlockable content, gives away, then that's on them to ship.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I love the product, and I'd love to talk to you offline. I think there's a lot of things we could coordinate on here.
Fabulous. So music is definitely, that's part of our music and fashion is down the line for us to completely get into as well.
I'll tell you, there's some pretty cool stuff that I can't speak about it right now, but what's being worked on with this Gallo project is going to be really, really cool. So,
fabulous. No, I would love to. Thank you.
Awesome. Nice to meet you.
Thanks, you too.
Awesome feedback, Greg, Nicholas. Thank you both for adding more value to this conversation. Anna, again, your model is really interesting. It's innovative. It's scalable. It's helping the world, helping Africa. I think it has so much potential for impact. So kudos to you for bringing it to market, and excited to see the success that comes from it in a sustainable way over the long term. So thank you for this presentation. If you wouldn't mind sharing your contact info with everyone here, how they can reach you, how they can engage with you, both from the investment side to Greg to the other founders and startups on the demo day today would be great.
Super.
Excellent.
Thank you very much, Michael. Thank you, Greg.
Fantastic.
Thank you, Nicholas, for your feedback and questions. I appreciate it.
Absolutely, yes. Next up, we have Bolarin, and Bolarin is from Centiv. Centiv is a peer-to-peer payment system on the blockchain. Essentially, users get to carry out seamless transfer of funds, again, across Africa. Very exciting. So Bolarin, I don't want to steal the show away from you. We had a great conversation. Very different model. I love the peer-to-peer aspect. I love the fact this is in Africa yet again. Could you share more about your story, your project, and what you're building with our community, with the investors, and of course with Greg? We'd love to hear it.
Hello, everyone. My name is Bolariwa Qkwe. I am the founder and CEO of Centiv. And the motivation behind Centiv is basically to enable Africans to do more with blockchain beyond the scope of cryptocurrency. As much as there is wide adoption of cryptocurrency in this part of the world, we are not really maximizing blockchain, especially when it comes to economic development and every aspect of economic growth. And that is the reason we are building solutions to enable Africans to interact more with the blockchain as regards to their daily day-to-day activities. Now we are looking to build an array of products over time, but at the moment we are building Centiv Pay, which is a payment system on the blockchain to address the loopholes that are still prevalent when it comes to making cross-border payments in Africa. Speaking about high transfer fees, speaking about stress inducement, speaking about so many paperworks, delay in settlements, and so on and so forth. So allow me to please share my screen so that I can run you through the pitch deck.
Thank you. Yeah, we appreciate it.
Can you see my screen now?
Does anyone see Bolarin's screen? I don't see it on my side. Does anybody else? Not yet? Okay.
You can see it now, right?
I don't think we see it quite yet, Bolarin. Rakesh, could we share? Oh, there we go. Yep.
Okay, great.
Now it looks like it's loaded here. I think. Here we go. Yep.
So, like I said, Centiv is an African startup building solutions to connect Africa to the global market. Our current build, Centiv Pay, is a payment system built on the blockchain to facilitate cross-border payments from crypto to bank. We want to make it easy for users to have quick and seamless payment experience, especially for businesses that need to conduct transactions beyond their shores of establishments. Centiv Pay is going to be a low-cost payment option that would help facilitate faster and cheaper cross-border payments. Now, what are the pains that people face or that individuals face when it comes to making payments? Stress-induced. As much as we have the likes of Flutterwave, Western Union, MoneyGram, every established in Africa, there are still loopholes, and part of them are stress-induced. For instance, if a random African is making use of MoneyGram or Flutterwave, or Western Union, they have to go through the bank, stand on the queue for several hours, several minutes before they get to carry out the transaction. So many paperwork that has to do with bringing, documents and so on and so forth. High transfer fees. The average transfer fees that the current methodology takes is between $5 to $50 per transaction. Some of them even take as high as 10%, 5%. So if you are sending, let's take for instance, $100, a whopping 10% is going to be deducted, which is quite on the high side. Another one is delay in transaction. Currently, it takes 1 day to 5 days before individuals get to have their funds delivered to the other party, which is not supposed to be. And that is why we are using blockchain to mitigate all these issues. Our solution, peer-to-peer, a decentralized remittance system whereby there is a secure P2P payment that we are putting in place to facilitate remittance process, whereby a crypto and fiat holder meet to exchange currencies based on the needs. So let's take, for instance, you want to send funds to someone in Nigeria and you have crypto. All you need to do is just come on Centiv Pay, find another user who has Naira but needs crypto. That other user makes that deposit on your behalf to the destination bank account while you credit the person with your crypto, whether USD or USDT or USDC, and there is a secure escrow system in place to ensure that transaction is secure and fair. Quick transaction. Within 5 to 10 minutes, your cross-border payment is done, unlike the current system that takes 1 to 5 days. There is no middleman, so there is no third party, unlike the current centralized system. 0 to no fees at all. Currently, there are high transaction fees, which I cited initially, But in this system, it is going to be zero fees, little to no fees at all, depending on the transaction, the weight of the transaction you are carrying out. Our value proposition: gain creators are instant cross-border payments, free crypto wallets, high crypto yields on crypto savings, easy crypto to bank payments. Our products and services: peer-to-peer remittance, crypto to bank payments, swapping of cryptocurrencies, merchant service points to enable entrepreneurs send and receive their payments in crypto, and then utility payments to ensure that users are able to make your utility payments using cryptocurrency. We also have the smart crypto loans. Now, one of the issues that we face in these crypto spaces, let's take for instance, the market is down and someone needs to carry out one or two things with cash. Now, the person won't be able to sell at loss. To make things easier, what we are going to do is to ensure that we are giving loans, credit to individuals who have their crypto. All they need to do is just to use their cryptos as a collateral to secure faster loans. Pain relievers, hassle-free payments, instant crypto to bank settlements, cutting cost of remittances. The gains: faster completion of business transactions, reduction of payment costs, and so on and so forth. I wouldn't want to stress too much on this part. I'll just go to our elevator pitch, which is our mission is to revolutionize Africa's economy through blockchain. Our solutions are built to enable Africans to maximize the use of blockchain beyond the scope of cryptocurrency. We are a group of Africans building for Africa. We are building on different blockchains. We have incorporated Tron blockchain, we have incorporated Binance Smart Chain, Stellar blockchain, Polygon. We are looking to explore other blockchains as time goes on, speaking about Celo and so on and so forth. We've been building for the past 2 years and we are looking to launch this product any moment from now as we are done with the MVP. Secure transactions. Now, currently in Africa, there is a high rate of immigration. People are migrating out of Africa to either go settle down abroad or to go and further their studies abroad. Now, they want to be able to seamlessly send and receive funds from and to Africa. And that is why this particular market, keeps growing, giving us a lot of potentials to explore and to gain a significant market share over time. Our competitive advantage: transaction time is instant. Between 5 to 10 minutes, you are done with your transaction. Unlike the other our competitors that takes 1 to 5 days, 2 to 3 days, and so on. Transfer fees: little to no fees. Unlike our competitors that charge as high as 10%, 5%, 40%, and so on and so forth. Decentralized: this is purely decentralized. We are building on the blockchain, unlike the other centralized system. Our product features at a glance. These are I'll show you the demo in soon so that you can check it out. We have our own cryptocurrency on the blockchain, which is called the Centiv token. It is the utility token built on Binance Smart Chain, a cross-chain token built on Binance Smart Chain and Tron blockchain to power our ecosystem of products. And what are the use cases? Transaction fees, staking, the premium for DeFi insurance protocol, and collateral to secure crypto loans. These are our tokenomics. We are looking for $1 million to further fund this project with 100 million tokens currently in circulation. In total supply rather. Our capital breakdown: for marketing, human resources, operations, token liquidity. Although we have been bootstrapping before now, but if we are able to get capital, these are things that we plan on using them for. Our team: myself and my other team members, Mwazu Abu, Ajibola. We have the engineering team, we have the marketing lead, and so on and so forth. Our advisors are top minds in the blockchain industry. Speaking about Franklin Peter, speaking about Raj Kapoor, speaking about Ayodele Abiodun. Our projects and milestones. Considering despite the fact that we are yet to launch, I'm super happy to let you know that we've achieved great feats over time. Speaking about our partnerships with the likes of Threshold, Modern Treasury, Wire. In fact, just yesterday we had a discussion with Dola, and we are looking to partner with them to enable users in the United States of America to send and receive funds to and from Africa. Back in March, we came top 5 in the Tron Grand Hackathon organized by Tron Blockchain, and I'm super excited to let you know that we are the only African project to come top 5 in that category. We are currently mentioned on NASDAQ. We are currently registered both in Nigeria and United States of America. We are an alumni of the Stellar Blockchain Bootcamp, coming second place winner. And our product is 100% done. Like I said, we are going to be launching any moment from now because we are currently testing. Thank you. Now, I would like to give you a rundown of the MVP, what we've built so far. Kindly give me like 2-3 minutes to show you the demo. And this is a demo showing how users will be able to move funds from crypto to bank accounts using Stellar Lumen. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Bolarin. The technology here is really interesting. The concept is really strong. Much like with Anna, I think supporting Africa and creating this, so that there is so much extendability in Africa is huge. Working back to other nations and other countries, it makes a lot of sense to me. I really, really like this. I think there is so much potential at scale, and that is what's so exciting about what we're talking about here is the potential at scale. So, without taking this too far, I'd love to get Nicholas and Greg's thoughts here. Nicholas from the investment side, Blockchain Founders Fund. Greg, our Web3 influencer and expert. Your take on what Bolarin is building at Centiv, and any questions, feedback, ideas based on what you just presented.
Yeah, so maybe I can start. So thanks so much for that pitch. I think what you're doing also is also like bringing more people from the Web2 side over to the Web3. I think what the project that you're building is interesting. So funny, right? So I've actually been networking with quite a few African VCs in the past month or so, and what they're saying is that fintech is really booming in Africa. So if you look at the likes of, let's say, Southeast Asia about maybe 7 years ago, fintech was really booming over here. Be it microfinancing, microloans. I think providing access to credit for like let's say for small business owners, I think that's something that was really booming back then. And now when I spoke to a couple of African VCs, they say that Africa is kind of like about roughly maybe 5 to 7 years behind the rest of the world. So I think definitely what you're building is a great product market fit already with large TAM over there in Africa. So just wanted to touch also like what's your current traction that you have in terms of, let's say, like the user side, right? Like you mentioned that you guys have been testing the product for quite a while now. What's the current traction?
So like I said, we are yet to launch. Testing is just like to ensure that we just have like a private set of individuals who are testing in private to ensure that everything is fine before we ship it to public. So I won't say there is traction per se because it is still within us before we ship to public. So there is no traction yet.
Okay, cool. And what's the the monetization opportunity over here? Because I saw that transaction fees are basically zero, right? So how are you planning to monetize the platform?
So it is not zero per se. Like I said, it depends on the weight. So let's assume someone wants to move between $100 to $500. Of course, those are low values that can that they can move with no fees at all. But starting from $1,000 upwards, and considering the fact that we are still going to be onboarding businesses who need to make cross-border payments, the potentials are really, really high because, of course, they will have to pay transaction fees to complete those payments, though cheaper
Right.
than what the other competitors are charging.
Okay, cool. Interesting. Yeah, and maybe just one last question on my side. So, I think this whenever building like an internet product or especially a mobile app, so I think a few things that you have to consider is also, right, in Africa, the bandwidth on the internet over there, as well as, mobile internet connectivity is often a bit, intermittent in the region. So have you, considered ways in which you can solve this issue? Just a question around there, or like to get your thoughts around there.
Okay, so I must say that currently, when it comes to internet connectivity and all of those things, Africa is moving. In fact, just sometime last month, MTN launched their 5G in Africa. It shows that Africans are beginning to embrace the internet, and over time, I'm very, very bullish on the fact that things will move from being offline to the online space. However, we have our own target audience, and our target audience are those who are very much conversant with the internet. So yeah.
Right. Okay. And just a follow-up question: would you know like what's the size of the app that a user has to free up in their phone to download? So basically, what I'm asking is, what's the MB size of the file?
It's just less than 20 MB.
Okay, cool, perfect. Yeah, I think because concern around there is that I think apps, especially in the region, a key consideration would be having it to be lightweight as well. Because the mobile phones in the region are also not as in terms of the storage space is not as large as the rest of the world. So yeah, I think 20 MB is definitely reasonable, and so good job on that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Greg, would love to loop you into the conversation as well. What thoughts, questions, feedback do you have?
It's another great angle you're attacking here. I mean, 80% of the world is either has no bank account or is underbanked. So this is, MSB is like a huge category where I'm actually working on something here in Denver. That can be extended to even like dispensaries, right? You can't get banking, right? So I have a couple questions on, is it difficult getting the African banks to come on board to use the app? That's one question. Second question, and this is the bigger one actually, is that I know a lot of the money transfer, the reason Western Union is used, etc., is because a lot of people, even here in the States, right, get paid in cash. So do you plan on extending this? And I love the app, and I love there's a huge market for it, right? But I feel like a huge area is really going to be is essentially taking your rand or whatever currency into that ATM machine, depositing the ATM machine, and then sending it from there to send Bitcoin or bank account, etc. So do you have a plan to integrate into like an ATM network? Because I know there's some big plays going on in Africa with that right now.
Okay, so to answer your first question, you asked if we are collaborating with the banks, right? Okay, so currently in Nigeria, I'll use Nigeria as a case study. There is this ban preventing banks from dealing in anything that's to do with cryptocurrency. However, we are currently in dialogues with the government. There are different bodies, blockchain bodies, who are in dialogue with the government, and there is progress. However, the banks do not necessarily have to be involved, because that is why we are having the P2P, so that we don't necessarily have to bring the integral part of the banking integration into the whole thing. It's just users to users, drop your bank account, and the transaction is complete. It's as simple as that. Then to answer your second question, can you please come again on your second question?
Second question, so it'll actually kind of relate back to your answer on the first one, is that the banks not having to be involved. I guess I don't know how the banks cannot be involved, to be honest.
Yeah, not like they're not involved. Not like they're not involved, but you don't necessarily have to go to them go to them directly. All users need to do is just integrate their bank accounts, which has been done already, and everything is fine.
Yeah, so I guess it goes to my question is that, the majority of a lot of people sending money abroad don't have a bank account. That's why Western Union has this market share. So I'm saying, are you looking at solutions to solve the issue of the people who don't, 80% of people in Africa do not own a bank account?
Yeah. I understand your point. Now, the thing is, there is a wide range of people who are still on the bank rather. But our own goal is to give a better banking experience to those who are banked already. So we have a target audience, and our target audience are those who are banked already. Maybe in future we'll start to take consideration of those who are on the bank. But for now, our target audience are those who are banked already, just to improve their banking experience.
Okay. Cool.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, it was great feedback, Greg and Nicholas. Thank you. And Bolarin, thank you for sharing your project, your story, what you're building. I think it's fascinating. I think it has so much potential to scale in market, truly. And you're serving Africa. You're able to extend that out down the line. We wish you all the success. If you could leave your contact info, anything social with those on the investment side with Greg, with fellow founders of Web3 Waves startups, we'd love to have that here in our chat, if you wouldn't mind. And again, keep us posted on your progress. And if we as a community can get involved in what you're building from the strategy, design, development, utility side at scale, let us know. Keep us posted for sure.
Thank you so much.
Thank you again. Yeah, thank you again. So our next and last founder and Web3 startup today, we have Quentin and Oscar from BlockSwan. I had the great privilege, of chatting with them recently. It's an exciting model with what you guys are building. I know, just as a caveat here, we're early stage. I mean, we're all early stage, of course, because it's Web3, but we're really early stage with BlockSwan. What you guys are in the process of building, I find very, very interesting and innovative. Simply put, BlockSwan's mission is to build a decentralized platform, giving anybody, any individual, access to the best online services with transparent blockchain protocol, and then, as we talked about, a rewarding ecosystem. So I don't want to steal the show again from you guys, because nobody knows BlockSwan better than you. If you wouldn't mind presenting this to us, sharing this with our community, with our investors, with Greg, we would really appreciate it.
Well, thank you very much, Michael.
Yeah, I have to say that I really admire your way of presenting things. It's the introduction was also really awesome.
That's right.
Good job.
Thank you, guys. Yeah, we try here. We try to make waves, right? So we try.
So to before going into BlockSwan, to quickly introduce Quentin and myself. So I studied economics and management, and I self-formed myself to computer learning, as well as designing. And so, Quentin, if you want maybe to...
Yeah, I'm studying engineering in Paris in the digital ecosystem. And I took a year to learn by myself on the blockchain ecosystem. So I learned Solidity and how to program a decentralized application. And it's been quite a great journey, but yeah, we were quite proud to present today what we've built together. So let's go. Do you see my screen?
Yes, we do. Does everybody else here see it as well?
Nice.
Yeah, perfect.
So let's get started. First of all, our mission.
Yeah, so that's briefly what Michael just mentioned for introducing us. So what we're aiming is to provide a space where anyone can access the best services, and as well be an actor of that application, not just consuming it. So we've tried different things to achieve this consensus. And so we've deployed on the testnet a first implementation that was actually rewarded by the blockchain Polygon, where we got the third place for the hackathon there. So that was a quite good news that we learned perhaps 2 days ago.
We are quite proud.
And so this first implementation, before going quickly over it. Perhaps content you want to go over why
about the issue here. Okay. Well, first of all, a big majority of every online services that are sold on the internet are sold by on the platforms Fiverr mainly, and a bit on Upwork, and also other ones, but the big majority today is on Fiverr. We also noticed that as well as Fiverr, quite every platform at the moment are taking 20% fees per transaction. So that's quite a loss for sellers, because they are the platforms are taken from them 1/5 of everything they sell. So we thought that thanks to blockchain technology, we could make a protocol that would be less that would cost less money for us as builders, and also cost less money for the sellers, and also by extension for the buyers when they use the protocol, because we are taking less fees in order to reward them, and as well as other mechanisms that maybe Oscar will explain. But yeah, the fact is we wanted to break the big monopoly of Fiverr at the moment, and we thought that it would be an opportunity to use blockchain in order to get a big traction by decreasing their fees.
I would just add and moderate a bit that we are more providing an alternative to those existing platforms rather than trying to compete at this point.
Yeah.
We are still trying to validate the product to market fit and gathering user to test and provide feedback, because we believe it's really valuable for such a protocol. Yeah. So perhaps here is a small chart showing the number of freelancers in the United States. Even though freelancing still happens offline, we can see that it's increasing, and that if you add also the COVID crisis, more and more people are spending their days at home. It's quite sad to say it this way, but yeah, you understand what I mean, working at their home place. Here is also the total addressable market. So it's derived from US data. So the number is quite big, and we are not aiming for all of it. Sorry, but what's really important here is to distinguish all the different the segmentations of the TAM, because we are trying to provide a place where you could find most of what you're looking for, whether it is design, programmation, sound system, so multiple categories, and so perhaps, yeah, go on.
Let's go. So we thought about the solution. Yeah, I've been, I've talked about it already. Sorry, but we want to make it more fair for builders. So we will charge them less. We are thinking at the moment about 4 to 6% for every transactions in terms of fees. We are still in discussion to really fix this number, but yeah, it won't be the 20% that you will see on every other platforms, and we also want you to be as Oscar said, a community where every users want to be part of it and participate to the ecosystem. So there is the introduction of a new type of user. There is not only buyers and sellers now. There is also the judges that will help us to solve the conflict on our platform. So basically, our protocol provides a new function for buyers and sellers. They can call what we call a trial. Maybe are we talking about it now? But yeah, for buyer, okay, we'll talk about it now because it's a solution as well as for buyer as for seller. So basically, when there is a conflict about the transaction, the buyer or the seller can call what we call a trial, where the new type of user, the judge, that are going to be validated by filling a KYC in order to be sure that one individual won't have many judge accounts and won't be able to vote multiple times for the same transaction. And basically those users will be rewarded by getting a little part of the fees, and also maybe we will talk about it later, but an utility token that is still to implement it, but
yeah. So what's important to mention here is that the first utility for it is, one, find what you need, that is the digital services. Mm-hmm. 2, get what you expect from it. 3, get it in time, and be sure to get it if you put the money for it. And then here is where we're getting into the more Web3 aspect. Not only use that app, but live it, be an actor within it, take decision. And because you do so, get rewarded for it. So into the sellers side, whom are the people basically listing gigs on the marketplace, can, thanks to our tool, maximize their deal flow. I don't really like this word, but it's really to easily access who owns them what and what they still have to do. Capture more revenue from it. Obviously, lowering it from the traditional platform. That's the main objective of leveraging the blockchain technology here. As well, of course, as implementing incentives mechanism into different sides of module of the protocol. So you can see on the screen multiple solutions here that are benefits for the sellers. But what I want to talk about is also another aspect that is pretty important, is how do we believe, like, what's our strategy to attract builders? And so one of our main points is implementing a multi-level marketing mechanism that is hard-coded into our protocols, or smart contracts, where when you invite a user, you can you capture a part of what the protocols do, because someone has completed the gigs. And so as it is applied on 2 level, if you invite someone that invites someone, you could also capture a part of it. So even if it's not big numbers, if you accumulate it on the long term, perhaps that could be something. And one also last aspect to perhaps mention is that at this point also we are only leveraging the Polygon Matic token as well as USDC token. Our set of smart contracts is functional to support any other ERC20 token, but on the front end it's only USDC. And whereas we are brainstorming to create our own utility token within the protocol, but we are also debating in all the game theory aspects and what are the different points we want to incentivize. So the utility token will mostly be into our next to-do once we are able to use it as a gas token into the Polygon blockchain with the subnets that are in implementation really soon. I think that perhaps
that's pretty much all. Yeah, that's.
I think,
and also
5 minutes.
Do you think we're done? Also, maybe another interest for builders that would. There is also another interest for builders to get that utility token that we thought about. It would be to promote their gigs on our platform, so they would be more likely to try and get them. as I said earlier, by being a judge, they can also stack those utility tokens. So that could help the traction of the use of being a judge, because at the moment, being a judge could be a little bit rewarding, but it's not really like getting a full-time job. So we thought we should add some other utility to being a judge, and what best utility than get advantages on using our platform. So that's pretty much it, I think. Do you have something to add?
No, I think so. I think we tried our best to explain it shortly, but we are definitely open to some questions. And
yeah, of course. Yeah. If you want to us to make something more clearer, let's go.
Awesome job, guys. Thank you for sharing your background, what brought you here, the market share, the opportunity. I mean, I think with BlockSwan, there is so much opportunity. If we think about the traditional world, as we move into Web3, I mean, you're at the front and center of change and the ebbs and flows of what's to come. So I'm so excited you're here. I see so much potential for you in the future. I want to open this back up to Nicholas on the investment side, to Greg on the Web3 influencer expert side. What are your thoughts, guys? Any questions, feedback, ideas for Quentin and Oscar here today?
Yeah, cool. Thanks so much, guys, for the presentation. Super interesting in what you guys are doing. So it sounds like you guys are in a very early stages of building, right? So what's the current traction like? What phase of the building are you guys at now?
So we have the first implementation that is running on the Polygon testnet. We are running tests on it with a small community of about 20-25 friends/freelancers. They are not all freelancers, and we are building the second implementation of it, which has a better UI to onboard Web2 users, because that's also what we aim for, as well as doing the second implementation of the protocol. So that maybe, Quentin, you want to talk a bit about what's new into the second implementation?
Well, for the second implementation, as we said, we want to create that utility token, and add the fact that the gigs are going to be stored on chain, and not only the contract, not only the transaction. At the moment, for the V1 of our protocol, the transaction only have an identity on chain, and we want to make the gigs also have an identity in order to link them to different transactions. So that's what's to implement at the moment, as well as the utility token that we have found a use, and we talked about it earlier.
So when the platform, so when the platform goes live, right? Are you guys still planning to use a bit of the Polygon tokens before migrating over to your native token?
So we think that there is a lot of game theories behind such a protocol, and we don't want to rush it. So we really want to have the first implementation where things are only running with the minimum Web3 knowledge required, while we are on our team thinking, okay, what are the real incentives we want to push forward. Once this is done, then we are sure that it will be sustainable on the Polygon subnet, then we will use our own token, but only when they can be used for paying gas fees. I don't know if I'm.
We don't want to that our payments on our platform be done in cryptocurrency that could jump to the moon and crash to the ground.
Yeah.
We want people not to feel like they're investing by taking a gigs on our platform. So we are implementing every payment on stablecoin using USDC, you said. and we feel like that's the right thing to do in order to get a massive adoption at the moment.
Because
Right.
even if we use a token, we need the stability into the escrow contract to keep the value of the fund. And this is a mechanism that could put downward pressure into a potential token. So that's why there's a lot of different aspects that we still need to calculate, actually. So to take the good decision and not push something too quickly, and still control it in a nice way. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we
Makes
don't
sense.
want it to be interesting only for the early stage and then see the platform go just disappear. We want that to keep going long
Got it.
term.
Yeah, and I think just as a feedback, right? It may work really well now since you guys will be like testing with the Polygon token and USDC because there's so much greater utility around there. But if you guys decide to launch your own native token, that's when the real, I guess, proof of the pudding lies, right? Where is your token able to sustain the economy? Is it able to attract enough users onto the platform, right? Which also leads me to my second question, that with all, like, I guess, marketplaces, it's always like a chicken and egg problem, right? Are you which side of the coin are you tackling? Are you how are you going to get quality service providers onto the platform in order to get users onto the platform? And it goes the other way around, right? How are you going to attract users onto the platform in order to bring over like quality service providers, builders onto the platform? Have you given any thoughts on that? Like, what's the go-to-market strategy?
Well, basically, our main traction is that sellers will be allowed to sell their gigs cheaper because we are taking way less fees than other platforms. Even when there is a conflict and when we increase a bit the fees in order to pay the judges, our fees won't go up to 16%. It will still be lower than every other platform. And when there is no conflict, we are talking about 5%. So it's like dividing every other platform fees by 4. And I think that's quite a good traction. Also, it would be a good traction also for buyers because buyers would find the same services for cheaper because if the seller isn't too greedy, he should dispense his gigs for cheaper because we are charging him less. And that added to the rewarding protocol for inviting new users. We think that should be a big traction after getting a few users. And
so we've also contacted some influencers. I don't know if you've seen on YouTube. There is those videos of Fiverr where some guy just like pay 3 people to execute the same job, and then he compared the job. So we've spotted a list of different users that actually made that kind of videos first in our country, in France, and we've made different approaches. So we're still on the go, and I don't want to announce anything on it. So that's also one thing. The second thing is, as Quentin mentioned, the multi-level marketing. So if you invite someone, then you get incentivized to invite people to capture fees from the protocol. And the last aspect is the competitive advantage relative to the fee that Quentin mentioned.
Okay, got it. Thanks so much, guys.
well, thank you.
Cool. Yeah. Great explanation, guys. Greg, any questions, thoughts, feedback?
Yeah, I mean, I love it. I think your competitive advantage that you're trying to sell here is use our site, make more money, right? Honestly, on a basic level. That being said, are you planning on only using crypto to participate on the site? Do you have fiat on off ramps planned for that? Because I feel like your target consumer to use the site is probably still using a credit card and still always will be. I think taking Web2 and still making it feel like it's Web2 for the user is less fearful. But
That's-
I think at the end of the day, if you use your platform and make more money, that's usually a slam dunk.
I see. No, yeah. To answer your question, you're totally right, and that's also one of the reasons why we don't already have an ERC20 deployed. Is that we want to be sure that if there is a crypto other than stable coins for people that actually want to use crypto, this token really powers the whole protocol. And so for it, it would be then easy for us to just have a Stripe implemented into the application and take the money and transfer it to the contract that then executes its backend logic and forward back to the user that has a slider saying, I want to be paid 30% in dollar and the rest in the native token. So that's the main reason. But of course, yes, we have in mind that Web2 user has to be welcomed into our harsh world. So yeah, we plan to use the credit card
in order to make waves.
Yeah. There's a lot of really good products out there now too, also with fiat on and off ramps out there too. So,
True.
And then in terms of like onboarding, your user base, right? I see you're definitely targeting like in the digital arts department. I see, which I like that, like focus on not everything, focus small and then build. Is there any verification process to like become a user on the site?
Only to become a judge at the moment. We don't feel that we need to track every buyer or every seller. If they want to get a solid profile anyway, they will have to stick with one and accumulate grades. But for the judge, it's another story because as I said, we don't want a judge to have many accounts and vote several times for the same gigs. So he can't trick the gig resolution.
Cool. Yeah, I remember a time, you guys probably weren't born yet, but when eBay first kicked up, you could control markets by having like 200-300 accounts at a time. So pricing, so cool.
The days of eBay, right?
I'm just waiting for that. It's coming from them, right?
It's coming.
Yeah.
It's coming. It's a PayPal eBay train. It's just coming. Yeah. Yeah, it's great. Well, Quentin and Oscar, thank you guys. Kudos to you for what you're building in market. You're wave makers, just like everybody else here, and you're trying to create something new. You're treading carefully through water as we go from Web 2 to Web 3, but you're bringing the innovation every step of the way, and that's what matters. And I think ultimately it's the innovation with the utility, with the core concept, the validation in market that's going to set you apart. And because you guys are being thoughtful, just like everyone else here from Anna to Bolarin, I think it's the steps you take now that will forge the tomorrow, and you're really helping us define that future. So I love it. I love the model. I think it has so much potential. Now this has been great, everybody. Thank you for investing the time today with us, sharing your stories, your projects, your perseverance in Web3, being a part of our Web3 Waves community. It means a lot to us. As Greg said, you'll start small and scale sustainably. That's what we're doing here. We're bringing unique projects, founders, creators to the market. We're helping to launch them, act as a catalyst, create those introductions with people like Nicholas and Greg, and together build something meaningful and make waves in Web3. So as we wrap up today, guys and girls and everyone, please feel free to follow us at W3 Waves on Twitter, join our Discord, we're on LinkedIn and any other place you can imagine. We are Web3 Waves, we are bringing everyone together, and we hope to see everybody back here soon. Until then, wish you guys well and success on your journey ahead. Keep us posted and be sure to share your social profiles, your links, your bios, anything else with us here and on our Discord. Thank you all again, and appreciate it. We'll see you again soon.